Hello Leo, thank you for coming back if you're a returning subscriber. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And don't forget to like and share or like and subscribe. This is a general reading, so some aspects of it may apply to you, or it could apply to somebody else in your environment or around you at this time. You could see this playing out in their lives. But it's a comprehensive reading, so there will be aspects of it which will resonate with you. So if you have elements in your chart which is associated with another sign, so it could be where your moon is placed, or where your ascendant is, or your Venus, or all of them. You know, there must be elements of your chart that sometimes you resonate with, and it falls under a different sign. So you can cross-watch to my other videos to get more information from there. I use the 12 houses of the zodiac, so as the cards are coming out in each house, then those are the influences that are coming in for you at this time. Bottom of the deck for you is Scorpio I Transform. Very strong card coming in for you. So I feel, looking at your chart, elements of this coming in is basically exactly what it says, transform. So I feel, looking at your chart, I think you really need to have a good long hard look at what it is you really want. What do you really want? What do you want from your life? What do you want going forward? What do you really want in your heart of hearts? And then what you're going to be busy with is transforming your desires into action. So it's that planning phase, it's the gestation period, and then actually taking it forward after that. You could also be, with this card, it's very, as I said, it's a very powerful card. It's all about, it is power. You may have power struggles going on, or there could be sort of manipulation going on, or you may be guilty of that. So power struggles, manipulation, do your best to avoid that, or you could be feeling that you're in this situation. But Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, so everything that is under the surface, everything that is lying underground, as it were, tends to come up during Scorpio aspects or Pluto aspects. So whatever is underneath could be rising up, and that can be anything really. That can be your hidden feelings, that could be a bit of scandal, or it could be just difficulties rising up, or situations that you hadn't seen before coming up. But it's basically things that are coming up that have to be dealt with, all right? So, you know, really, at the end of the day, you're in control, and you have to take steps now to transform what is going on around you, what is happening in your life, to move you forward. In the first house, we have void, of course, moon missing. So when the moon changes signs, it goes through a bit of a sort of a shadow period where you don't benefit from the rays of the moon. So falling in your first house is the house of the self. So this covers everything to do with your physical body, but it's also how others perceive you. So this can be your personality, your characteristics, how you come across to others, what you're projecting to others, which is a different thing. But it's everything to do with the self, your physical body, your vitality, your life force. It's also your self-oriented interests, and it is also you know, how you're making your way outward into the world. So how you meet things, and your personal independence, and so on. So with this happening, you kind of it may not be the entire month. It could just be a period of a few days, or maximum a week, I would think, where you know, where this may be necessary, where it's sort of, as I said, it's a shadow period. Things are not what they seem. So this is a good time to actually just to stay as you are in your normal routine. Just do as you would normally do, and put your energy into, without changing anything. Just stay as you are. It's a very good time to rest and dream and plan for when the next action phase comes to you. So it's that sort of gestation period, if I can put it that way. And it's not a good time to be putting energy into new things, or to launch something, or new actions. And the reason for that is because, as I said, that things are not what they seem. So it could end up being a wasted effort. So putting your time, money, energy into something, and then it just doesn't give you the result that you want. So it's best just to pull back and wait until the energies have shifted, and then you can move forward. It's that gestation period, and you may just be coming across like that as well to others, that you're just in that in-between phase. And following on from that, in the second house is your house of income. It's also the house of your self-worth and the house of your value systems. So what you value in yourself and what you value in others. This house also rules your possessions, what you own. So land, property, real estate, any possessions that you have. I mean, those things could be sort of a profession for you, real estate or whatever, but it could be that you're involved in land transactions or you want to do something like that. But ultimately, what this card is saying is that, again, it's not a good time. This will be during the course of the month. It's not a good time to be initiating big new actions or making big purchases or start launching anything. This is actually a time of going back to the drawing board, having a look at your plans. So you've been planning, you've been thinking about what you want to do, but you actually need to go over them again in relation to the second house. So this could be to do with your income. Perhaps you're self-employed and you want to change the way you do things, or perhaps you are needing to ask for something from your employer, or it could just be to do with your self-worth and your values, and changing what you own and so on. But this card is saying to you it's not a good time to be launching or taking new actions or making big purchases, so avoid if possible. Mercury rules all forms of communication. So during this period, all forms of communication can very easily go awry. There's a very unpredictable energy around, and so things like emails get lost or they don't get delivered. You can be misinterpreted by somebody, or there can be misunderstandings very quickly and very easily. Things just don't work. Cancellations, delays, frustrations. Your results are not what you want, or you purchase something and then you just no sooner get it home and you've had it a short time and then it doesn't work and now you have to take it back, that sort of thing. It's also related to technology of all kinds. So all your communication devices need to be backed up and secured, because you could lose data or you could lose information, or your system crashes or something like that. So that can happen as well. Mercury, it becomes a very unpredictable energy. It almost appears like it's going backward. It's an illusion, but that is how it feels. And you could just have really a false start with whatever it is that you're trying to do. So it's back to the drawing board. Anything with a re in front of it applies. So reinvention, if that is required, revise, review, renew, release, and even relocate comes up in this. And relocate comes up a few times. So it's a possibility that what you are trying to do or what you're planning to do may be for somewhere else. You may either planning a relocation, or you could be in the throes of that, or maybe that is something that you need to contemplate on. Do I need to relocate to put myself in a better position? Because you are contemplating certain things about your future now. So it's all about that. But it's back to the drawing board. Look at your plans, go over them with a fine-tooth comb several times. And if it's applicable, ask somebody else to help you with that, because they may spot something that you missed. Mistakes can be made, things can be overlooked, and if you go over the plans again, you will come up with a much better plan. So it's a case of refinement until you come up with a much better plan. Then in the third house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. So third house is your house of communication, and that kind of follows on from this card, but it's all forms of communication. So this is written, verbal, body language. It also rules documents and contracts. And also short trips, local journeys. So with this, there's a tremendous amount of frustration that comes in with this card. And this is because you've got 4 hard angles all bearing down on you. So you just feel under pressure, stressed. You're juggling lots of different things. You've got things coming at you from all different angles. And it's very hard to navigate or to work out what it is you should be doing first. So you tend to run around, you tend to juggle, you're not feeling like you're making any progress. So this is all to do with your communication. It's all to do with contracts and documents. Perhaps you need to do certain things and you just can't get to it, or whatever it is you're trying to achieve just isn't working really. There's too much going on. So this card is a catalyst for change. Okay, it does do that, but it's how you handle the energy. So you have to prioritize what's important for you at this time in this house. You've got to consolidate your energy. Timing is important. Also endurance through limitation, because there will be limitations. It's these 4 hard angles bearing down on you. So through limitation, you will build up endurance. It's about building inner strength and stamina, really, to get you through difficult periods like this. But it is a catalyst for change. So once you learn how to manage the energies and just build up that inner endurance and strength, then once you've done it, on the other side of that, then you will start to see results. But it's just that period in between where you just feel like you've got too many things coming at you. But you've got a lot of talents and abilities with this card that need to be harnessed. And it's just a case of focusing, prioritizing, and then managing your time to achieve what you need to achieve with this house. But it will be a frustrating period. It could be like driving around in second gear. It's a little bit like that. Then in the 4th house, we have Pisces, I believe. So in this chart today, your 4th house and your 10th house, which are opposite each other, are both underwater, as it were. Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is in your 10th house. So they're sort of linked somehow. This is the bottom of your chart and the top of your chart. Your bottom of your chart is your foundation, the top of your chart is what you're aiming for. So it could be that at this time, your home life and also your career is kind of susceptible to change. You're not quite sure where you're headed just at the moment. So with 4th houses rules your home. It also rules your relationship with your family. So this is your foundation, your ancestry, your ethnic identity. Some people have a very troubled relationship with that, and others are fine with it. They rely on it for their traditions and their values and so on. So it really depends where you are. But this also, as I said, rules the home. So this is your actual physical home structure, your house, or wherever it is that you're living. It can also be the atmosphere in the home, the people in your home, and so on. So with Pisces, I believe there's a couple of elements that come in with this card. You may just have to surrender to what is right now. There could be things going on, but it's a kind of a surrendering. You're going to be very sensitive at this time. You could be dreaming a lot at home, or you could have big dreams about your home and so on. And because this card does tend to activate your imagination and your inspiration and your creative side, it does very much do that. So if you work from the home, that's a wonderful thing, especially if you're a writer or you create things from your home space. Your imagination and your inspiration, your creativity will be very high. Your sensitivity to others and your compassionate levels will be activated. But as I said, it could also be that there's things going on, and this is about having belief in yourself, belief in what is going on, and surrender to what is at this time. It could also be that you have elements going on in your home which require you to reaffirm your boundaries. So because sometimes with Pisces they have trouble putting boundaries in. So there could be a lack of clarity about what is going on in your home or in your home life or towards your family, your foundation. So lack of clarity, you may need to put your boundaries in place. You could have people around you who are a bit of an energy drain. They're sapping you through all their complications, and they pull you under, they sap your energy. There could be victim consciousness going on, or it could be you in that situation. Perhaps you are draining others or sort of in victim consciousness at this time. So just be aware of that. Rather redirect that mindset into something imaginative and inspirational. Try and redirect for the better. But if you have somebody in your home who is guilty of that, then take steps to sort it out. It could also be that you have water in the home. You may have water issues in your actual physical home, which might need addressing at this time. In the 5th house, we have Aries I am. So 5th house is the house of your children or other children that you're involved with at this time. It's also the house of your creativity and your expression. It can be artistic as well, but creativity is, we all use it every day in everything that we do, the way we speak, the way we walk, the way we dress, the way we conduct ourselves. So creativity, it's your personal brand, your individuality, your originality, and how you use that. It's also the house of love affairs and everything that goes down in that. It's also the house of recreational activities, and that can be fun activities, pleasurable activities, and it can be sporting activities. Anything where you're out and about and you're enjoying indoor or outdoor activities which are recreational for you. So it's about having fun and enjoying yourself. It's also could be sports and team related. It's also the house of speculation of some kind. So this is normally risk taking to do with gambling. So that's an activity. But it could also be interest in the stock market and stock exchange and so on. So with Aries I am, this is a fire action card. It really is the first proper action card that you have had in the first part of your chart. And in fact, you don't really have much else at this time. So I feel this house is important for you in some way. So whether it's you exercising your creativity and your artistic ability, if you don't necessarily have both, but all of us have creativity. It could also be that it's to do with your children. Perhaps they are going through things and you're wishing to assist them, or you're involved with them somehow. It could be your partner, your love affair, or, as I said, some sort of activity that you're involved in right now. And Aries is a very action-oriented card. It's a very sporty card. There's energy there, all right? But with the Aries energy coming in, you may have to compete for something, or you may be challenged by something, and you've really got to gather your energies together to tackle the challenge. It's also could be that you or your children possibly are having to really apply themselves at this time. So a fire has been lit. That energy is there, that rush of wanting to do things, take action. But the best way to tackle this energy, because it can lead to a lot of rushing around and chasing your tail, or rushing into things, impulsive, sort of scattered energy. So what you need to do is really take disciplined and measured action. It's the very best way to use this energy, because then you can achieve a lot. So disciplined action. It's also no nonsense, this card. No nonsense, no game playing, no fiddling around, no emotional manipulation. No nonsense, cards on the table. You may have to get up front with somebody about something, or maybe your children do. Cards on the table, let's get clear. Let's get things sorted out. You could be dealing with somebody else's ego, or maybe your ego is involved. And that sometimes happens with when you need to harness your energy. You want to get things done. You could be involved in a sport or a team event of some kind, and you have to work with others. You have to cooperate with others in order to achieve. But there is a leadership role here. And there's energy in order to do that, but it may be a competition or a challenge or something that you have to overcome, and you're now getting the energy in order to do that. Then in the 6th house, we have solar eclipse revolution. So this house is the house of your work, your workplace, and your work colleagues, your work routines. It's also the house of your health, diet, and lifestyle, and the house of your pets. So with solar eclipse revolution, massive change coming in here for you. And it seems to be precipitated by all this planning and dreaming and ruminating and waiting for doors to open. Okay, so solar eclipse revolution coming in for you in this house. So you can expect swift changes of some kind coming in for you here. So this could lead to a complete turnaround or a complete rearrangement. You're going to be zapped into the present with this card. That's what it forces you to do. It goes black and it forces you to look at what is in front of you. Not the past, not the future, only now, right now. You could have an upheaval of some kind going on in this house. It could even be a relocation, something to do with moving what you're doing from one place to another. It could also be that you are changing position, and therefore your relationships are changing about where you work. It could also be an ending and a beginning. That is very much a solar eclipse card. So something is ending and something is beginning. So it's like a new chapter coming in for you, a new direction or a new path. You could also just be breaking old patterns. So you may have been doing things robotically or doing things in a certain way for a long period of time, and now something occurs and now you have to change how you've been doing it. It has that energy about it. So it's also a wonderful opportunity for self-mastery through these changes, because it's your attitude to the change or to the upheaval or whatever has occurred. It's your attitude to that and how you handle it that will determine the outcome. So this is an opportunity for self-mastery, an opportunity to get to grips with what needs to be done and take steps. If it's to do with your health and diet and lifestyle, all of that applies. You're facing issues front and center, and you are therefore going to change things in order to create the lifestyle or the health or the diet that you require to move you forward. You may be forced into it. Maybe the time has come now where you just simply cannot avoid it and you must make these changes. But it is also kind of linked to your 12th house. The 6th house is also the house of service. That's why work is ruled by that. But it can also be, it's linked to your 12th house, which is the opposite house. And there are doors opening for you there, big doors opening for you there. This is a positive karma coming to you and so on. So this is the unconscious, the 12th house. So what is going on in your unconscious self is going to bubble up and motivate you to do certain things. You're going to have to rest and dream and plan, but there are going to be changes coming in for you, and therefore you can then free up your energy and go after what it is that is right for you at this time. In the 7th house we have Gemini, I think. So 7th house is the house of partnerships. This is like a committed love relationship, like a marriage or an engagement or a long-term committed partnership, or it could be a business partnership, or any other close personal relationship that you have at this time. If you're not married or you don't have a close partner, then it could be another relationship around you at this time. So Gemini, I think Gemini is normally sibling related, but it can be twin related. There's all those kinds of aspects to it. But it is ruled ultimately by Mercury. So Mercury is kind of more friendly than loving. So it may be that in this partnership, a friendship needs to be established. But above all things, Gemini is about communication. So elements of that are going to be required in this house in whatever form is appropriate for you. So communication, very, very, very important. Also quick thinking. You may have to think quickly about certain things. You may have to talk your way into something or out of something. There's versatility required here, so being adaptable to circumstances. It could also be that they are displaying two sides of yourself, or you're seeing it in your partner, or you are in two minds about something, so indecisive. It could also be that you're being talked about in general, or there's gossip going on around you or your partner or your relationship, or you're hearing it and it's affecting your relationship in some way. But in all cases, your words are going to be very important at this time. So be mindful about what you say and what you think as well, and pay attention. This is a big thing for Gemini. Pay attention to what is going on. Don't be so scattered and so spread so thin that you're not actually focusing on what is important here. You could also, the other side of Gemini, it's a very sharp, very intelligent sign. So it's sharp. It's got that sharp mind probing research quality to it. Quick thinking, quick wit, humor, very communicative. But it can also come across as being glib or argumentative or fickle. All right, so bear that in mind when it comes to your relationship and moving it forward. It could also be that you have a soulmate coming in. This person has arrived recently, or is on the verge of arriving. It could be that as well, because Gemini twins, this is the lover's card in the tarot. So it could be that somebody's coming in. It may not necessarily be a love relationship. A soulmate can be a business partnership. So, or somebody that is coming into your life that you have a bond with, a deep bond. And this is indicated also in your 12th house, where you have North Node, and that is all about karmic relationships and soul family. So you could have somebody coming in who can be any kind of a partner to you, but also it could just be a close personal one-on-one relationship, and it's appropriate at this time. In the 8th house, we have part of fortune increase. 8th house is the house of sexuality. It's the house of death, and this can be symbolic. Or it can be literal, but most of the time it's symbolic, and that is usually associated with like ego and so on. It's also the house of rebirth or regeneration or renewal in something, and this could be a business or an idea, or just rebirth in a deeper commitment relationship that you have, whether it's a business or a love relationship. This house also rules the merging of your material and emotional resources in a relationship, with whichever form that relationship takes. So it's the joining together, the nuts and bolts of that. With this card, though, what it is saying, part of fortune increase, this is a bit like your pot of gold, all right? So it's appearing in your 8th house. The 8th house is also the house of big finance. So this is your investments, insurances, taxes, banking, accounting, assets, and so on. It's also the house of inheritance and legacies. So it could be a financial aspect for you this time around, or it could be more to do with a relationship. You'll have to just see how it plays out for you. But what this card is saying to you, what aspects of this house have not been harnessed by you? So something possibly has been overlooked or unacknowledged. And this is normally a talent or an ability or something that is surfacing at this time, which you can use to assist you in some way. So there may be learning or teaching around that, whatever is emerging for you. There may be learning or teaching which you need to undertake in order to monetize that, or to make it work for you in some way. So this is an inherent thing. This is something that's coming up. It could even be wisdom or knowledge that you have, and you need to spread it around a little bit, monetize it, or make it work for you. So it's applying your inherent wisdom and ability to perhaps create more money for yourself, or to do with investments, or however. It's also, this house also has to do with managing other people's money or being involved in other people's resources in some way. So a karmic trigger could activate this. So a karmic trigger could activate this, and that causes the rising up or the increase of something in your life which has up till now not really been utilized fully. And it's something that you need to look at to make it work better for you. So think about that in the 8th house. It's also about discovery. You may discover something and put it to good use in this house. It's a rising up of something that has always been there but not really been utilized. But whatever happens, there will be rewards and benefits around that coming to you. It's a very beneficial card, this. In the 9th house, we have Libra I balance. So the 9th house is the house of international things, foreign things. It's also the house of international travel. This is long distance travel, okay? It's also the house of expansion of the mind, whether that's through traveling or studying. It can be, adventure and exploration also falls under this house. Whether that's, you're actually physically going on an adventure, or whether you're just, opening up your mind to learn more. It's the search for truth and deeper meaning. It's your intuition and the intuitive processes of you, and the seeking of truth and wisdom. It's expansion. It's expanding the mind or your experiences. But it does really rule a lot of foreign things, whether this is foreign people, foreign businesses, foreign cultures, foreign belief systems, or you've got an import and export business, something like that. But it's interaction with all things, in the world. It's also the house of study. So this would be in sort of university level or adult education. It's also the either the study or the learning or the understanding of concepts around philosophy, religion, belief systems, and also the law. The law and the higher courts fall under the ninth house. Your in-laws fall under the ninth house. It's also it's kind of it's the laws that underline life as well. So with this card coming in, it's saying that you in this house you need to link up with another at this point. So whether that's for international travel, like a trip, a holiday, or something like that, or it could be a project, or it could be to study, or it could be for learning something. So you need to link up with another at this time, or if the opportunity presents itself, link up with somebody. It's about finding balance between your needs and their needs at this time to bring out the best. So there's mutual support, mutual understanding, mutual benefits. Okay, so you've got the support. You're supporting each other through whatever it is that you want to do in this house. But it's about balancing your needs with theirs. So you can't, lose out on your needs in favor of theirs. There must be balance there. It could also be that you are going on a romantic venture of some kind, because Libra is a very romantic sign. It's the sign of partnership. So a romantic venture of some kind, or you could be invited to travel long distance to a wedding, something like that. Libra also rules the arts. So this could be something that you're busy with in the ninth house. Perhaps you're studying it, or you are enjoying a trip where these things are involved in your trip. So this is everything to do with art. So whether this is artistic or endeavors, or poetry, or stage work, or concerts, galleries, anything beautiful. So this can be sculpture, beautiful gardens, anything that is beautiful to you, that it's the appreciation of that. So this could be you involved in that in some way, or you are visiting places like this and enjoying that possibly with a friend or a partner. This, like I said, this card also rules legal things. So you could be involved in a legal matter of some kind. So with this card, it's asking you to focus on the Libran qualities, which is charm, fairness, mediation, and negotiation. All of those things are going to be required in order to bring a good outcome, a fair outcome for the legal matter that may be your situation. In the 10th house, we have Neptune sacrifice. So as I mentioned earlier, 10th house, this is your house of career, fame, reputation, your public status, who you are in the world. Also, it's the house of authority figures, whether this is personally in your life, or it could be in your career, or it could be a guru that you look up to, or somebody that you admire, or it could be an authoritative institution of some kind, like the law, or the military, or the police, something like that. So now with Neptune's sacrifice coming in, so it's saying that in this house there's some sacrifice required at this time. So whether it's your time or your ego, you may be having a bit of an ego death of some kind, or you may have to sacrifice your time in order to achieve something. So there could be a little bit of mystery going on in this house. You may just find that things are not clear, because Neptune can do this. It can draw a veil over things, and so you don't really see clearly. A little bit of mystery going on. So just be careful with what you say and do at this time, because there may be a bit of confusion in this house, or confusing circumstances, or confusing people, This, from a career perspective, this card rules cosmetics, oils, perfumes. It also rules the film industry, and that's television and media like that. It also rules artistic activities, creative activities, because your imagination is heightened under the rays of Neptune. Your artistic sensitivities are raised and heightened, but so is also your fantasy and your illusion levels. So be careful you don't fall under an illusion during this period. So you will an illusion of something, thinking it's one way, and meantime it's not like that at all. But if you are in the film industry or the television industry, or you're a writer or something where you're are required to tap into, high fantasy, or to create illusions, or you need to use your imagination, then this is a wonderful card for doing that. It really does help you to tap in to that. It can also be that you have a connection with the divine in some way, and you're perhaps channeling or using those skills as a career. So see how that works for you. Then in the 11th house, we have Capricorn IUs. So this is a very business-oriented card, and it's coming in your 11th house, which is the house of your friendships, but it's also the house of your contacts and networks, and the people that you gather throughout your lifetime to assist you, or to harness for whatever purposes. The 11th house is also very much about your personal hopes and dreams, but also yourself, your hobbies and your interests, and the furthering of that. It's also the house of all kinds of group activities. So whether this is a society or an association or a club that you're a member of, anything to do with group mentality, group consciousness. It's also the like I said, futuristic visions. So this can affect society. So this can be group consciousness, but it can also be global consciousness. And it's also about social reform and causes that may be appropriate for you. But all kinds of group activities where you are part of something larger than yourself, that can also fall in under the 11th house. So with Capricorn IUs, that's exactly what it is. It's basically being resourceful, being ambitious, goal setting, very, very important. Being determined, absolutely determined to achieve what you set out to do. Having a system in place. So nurturing your contacts, your networks and your connections, harnessing that power to build your business or to put yourself forward in some way. And it's about building foundations as well, very much with this card. Systems, harnessing systems and putting systems in place. And it's about business, going into business or being in business, and all the connections that come with that. But with this card, it's about moving up in the world. So you may be in this house, you may be experiencing a sort of a surge of that. But you need to be patient, you need to be disciplined and determined to achieve what you want, but you must goal set as well. Then in the 12th house, beautiful card, we have North Node, Life's Purpose. So 12th house is the house, as I said, it's the house of the unconscious. So this is almost 90% of your life is unconscious, because this is where your drives and your motivations and your hidden things are lying. It's the deeper self, all right? It's also the place where you go when you want to reflect or retreat, or when you just need some solitude and me time. It's also the house of your spiritual life, your meditation, mysticism, and also the house of healing. So this may be a profession for you, because that also comes under the 12th house, the healing profession or helping others, service to others. That comes in. Quite a few people with strong 12th house are in the healing or helping professions. It's also the house of escapism. So that's great for a short trip or when you need to just zone out periodically to cope with various things. But when you start doing it all the time and you're just escaping from reality in general, then it becomes an addiction, and that falls under the 12th house. It's also resolutions and endings can occur in this house, and with this card especially. It's also the house of karmic lessons, but this is a positive karma coming in for you. It can also be about meeting twin flames, or certainly the drawing to you of soul family, karmic connections who are going to be beneficial for you at this time. And that can be a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever you attune yourself to. But it's people that you are very deeply connected to in some way. You may not know them very well, but you have a deep connection with them, and they are there in your life at this time for a specific purpose. So North Node, Life's Purpose coming in. So positive karma in this house, doors opening for you. And this could be internal doors, realizations, opening the mind, letting go of certain things which perhaps have held you back. So changes or destiny in the making. This is coming for you. So all this is going on under the surface, and your first house is about planning that. So this is what's going on under the surface. You're going to be planning and thinking about what you're going to be doing, and then you're going to have time to launch it. So there's purpose in contemplation with this, deeper understanding. As I said, karmic connections are going to be very important for your soul family. You're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time. It can be, as I said, the arrival of a soulmate who can be a very good friend, or a boss, or a partner, or somebody who is coming in that you have a deep connection with. But it's all about growth. This card is about growth. It's about moving forward in some way. And your path will be smoothed for you, and a whole lot of things will be resolved, or they will just fall away to create new pathways for you. So it's new directions, moving forward, letting go of things, because the future is waiting for you, and that's what this card is all about. Okay, Leo, I hope you enjoyed that. Do take care. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, or like and share, and that will escalate it to other people to view. But I hope you have a good month, and I will see you next time.